Hello, my name is Jen and welcome to the book Refuge. Sorry it's been a few days. I've been deep into reading my TBR, which is going really well. I definitely think I'm gonna get through it. I have DNF'd a couple books though. Obviously I'll do that in my June wrap up. It's been good though. Some of the ones I pulled out of my TBR jar especially have been really fun to dive into, books that have been on my shelf for most of them years, so it's nice to finally get around to them. But well, yeah, the reason why you're here, what it says on the thumbnail is yesterday we had a really rainy day in Fargo, which is where I live, and I thought it would be fun to do some of my favorite rainy day recommendations, which by that I mean books that I continually come back to. Books that are comforting to me. They bring me a lot of joy, and most of them aren't high anxiety. There's only one of these that's really high pressure. The rest of them are really kind of relaxing reads, or they're the first one in a series. So yeah, they're just really comfortable, and you'll see. So I kind of have one from all the categories. You'll see I have one in adult fiction, I have adult romance, I have a YA science fiction, a YA contemporary, and a classic novel. So I'm going to share 5 books with you. And yeah, obviously I'll tell you why I picked them, but here we go. So the first one that I go to when it's a rainy day, it's a book that I enjoy reading over and over again because I never pick up everything, and that is Outlander. Obviously I talk about this all the time, a lot of people talk about it all the time, I'll talk about it again. This book is so good. Not just this one, I'm talking about the entire series, which currently there's 8 novels, going to be 2 more of them, and I just love coming back to them, whether it's I want to read some of my favorite chapters or read my favorite book, or I just want to, peel over some of the amazing things that happen in these books, good and bad, of course. So yeah, this is definitely one of my rainy day recs. Man, if you haven't read this yet, I know they're intimidating. I've showed you the whole stack, but I look at this as a series to for your whole life. These are a series that you probably will want to rush through to find out, but this is a series that I'm going to want to read at every point in my life. Because a lot of the things Claire and Jamie have gone through, well, I won't go through them because try as I might, that time machine I'm working on just won't get finished. But also because, I'm not married yet. I haven't went through any of these things. I've never lost a husband or a child or any of those things, but there are a lot of things that happen in these that, may happen later in my life, good and bad. So yeah, I look at this series as you're going to go through life with these characters, literally, because it takes place over 40-year time period. But I just love that. I love when there's so much content and so many different things that happen, and it doesn't just revolve around one thing. It revolves around first one couple and then one family, an extended family, but it's just about life, and I love that. So anyway, this is a rainy day rec for me for sure. I'll switch over to one of my favorite. This is a young adult science fiction, and that is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. Ooh, so shiny. I love the red shoe. This book series I love coming back to again and again. One of my best friends is finally reading this right now, and it's so much fun to just reminisce it with her again. I'm gonna start it on audio again, which is actually how I first came across Cinder. When I first started Audible, I got 3 free books way back. They don't always have this special anymore, but at the time I got 3 free books when I signed up, and I decided to give this one a go. Because honestly, the premise freaked me out in the beginning. It seemed way too sci-fi for me. I was not into that at that time. Being that Cinder was a cyborg and it was a fairy tale twist, and it was set in New Beijing, which just seemed a really foreign thing to me, and it wasn't something I'd ever read before, and I took a jump on it, and I'm hard pressed to like, it's really hard for me to put my favorite series in order. It's like choosing your children because they all do different things for you. But this is very, very high on my favorite series because to me, there isn't a weak book in the series. Other people have different opinions about, you know, they don't like how it ended, or everybody got off too easy at the end, or this or that or whatever. The thing to remember is like, it is based on fairy tales at the end, you know, and the Disney fairy tales, let's say, and everyone gets a happy ending in the end, you know, and that's what I like about it. Like it has the characters are so clever and witty and smart, and I would love to be thrown in with these characters and be best friends with them if they would have me. I would love that. And like Outlander, I would not want to get thrown into Outlander. No matter how gorgeous Jamie Fraser is, I do not want to go live in the 1700s for anyone. I'd rather be alone in the 21st century than die in the 17th. Anyway, whatever. But this is one that I go to. I want to be friends with these characters, and I love them. And when I want to snuggle up on a rainy day and just laugh, like I laugh at this series. And for it being like a futuristic, you know, dangerous time, like it brings me so much joy. The dialogue is so funny. It's really worth your time. I'll show you my classic that I love to read on a rainy day. I bet a lot of you will feel this one. I have this beautiful new copy of it that I got at a thrift store, and it's gorgeous. So Jane Eyre is my favorite classic of all time. I've shared that before when I reviewed Brightly Burning last month. But yeah, this is my beautiful copy, and oh, it's so beautiful. This is my favorite classic. I love to pick this up and read sections of it. It's a gothic romance. What else is there to say about Jane Eyre? But this is my favorite classic, and it's also my favorite classic to read because generally I don't just read parts of a classic. You really got to like dive into them and commit to it. But with Jane Eyre, I can kind of just pick up my favorite parts and, you know, enjoy it for a little while. And again, this copy is so beautiful. Oh, it's so pretty. Anyway, favorite. Particularly, I picked this for the author. This is my favorite romance author. This is Julia Quinn. This is the first in her Bridgerton series. Oh my gosh. My friends who I've shared this with, like, I love this series so much. And one of the things I love about Julia Quinn especially is that all of her books take place not only in like the same time period, like, but within the same world. So in her other book series and trilogies, there'll be mention of the Bridgerton family, just like there's mention of other characters in other ones. And I love that. I love when if you're a dedicated reader to the person, you can pick up on those little like cues like that, or little Easter eggs for you. But yeah, this one is about, so what's cute, I'll do a little intro for this because I love the Bridgerton series. So what's cute about the Bridgerton series is it's a family of 8 siblings, and they're all named in alphabetical order. So it's Anthony, Benedict, Colin, Daphne, Eloisa, let me see it, Francesca, Gregory, and Hyacinth. Woo! I'm so proud. I haven't read these in a while. But this first one is about Daphne, the oldest girl, and then it tells them in order. So first it's her, but then she tells Anthony, Benedict, and then she goes in order from there. But yeah, this is about Daphne Bridgerton and how she meets the love of her life. Starts out as like they're pretending that they're engaged to please their parents, and then they end up falling in love. Totally classic Regency romance. Like, it's fine. It's not groundbreaking, but I love Julia Quinn. If you love trashy romance novels, like, you have to read her. And yeah, you just have to read her. Any of her books, any of her series, but this is my favorite. It's the first one I ever read, and I got lucky because sometimes when I grab a romance from an author like this, like, you get like the third one in the series, so you don't like know any of the other people. But this was the first one in her most well-known series, And then I actually accidentally picked up the last one. So I had this one and the last one. And so I had to go hunt around and find, and this was back in the day before I used Amazon. I was only like maybe 17 when I started collecting these. So I was really proud when I like found the whole series and everything. So anyway, this is my like favorite author for rainy days. And I just curl up with one of her books, and you know, I can finish it within a couple hours because I mean, romances you just fly through, especially if you've read them before, but definitely give her a try. And then finally, I wanted to share my favorite young adult contemporary novel. I don't read a lot of those. I don't read a lot of those. I'm excited for next month's Owl Crate because I know that there's going to be a contemporary in that, so I'm excited to give it a try. But generally, the only contemporary author I read is Sarah Dessen. I've read a lot of other contemporaries. I read a lot in high school, but none of them stuck with me the way Sarah Dessen's did, because to me, she's kind of like the Nicholas Sparks of young adults. And like for a while, like they made one of her books a movie, which was a disaster, so don't talk about it because I absolutely hated how they did that. But I love her contemporary romances because they always have something important to say. This is my second favorite. My first favorite, the copy I have is really beat up, but it's called Just Listen. That was the first book of hers I ever read, and it was about date rape. I know, heavy thing, but it was about getting your voice back, and that was really cool. This one, the main character, I think her name is Sydney, and she lives in the shadow of her older brother who her parents love so much, and she feels like they love him more than her, but he got he got put in prison for he was drunk driving and he hit a kid with his car, and that kid is paralyzed now. And Sydney is under this pressure to be the perfect child that her brother failed to be, even though her mother still, like, to Sydney, it feels like her mother still loves her messed up older brother more than her. And she meets family who like owns a pizza joint, and she starts making friends with them, and they're just so different from who she's normally supposed to be friends with. They're kind of kooky and great, and so she just really like falls in love with the family as a whole, as well as falling in love with the oldest brother in the family as well. And it's just really cute. And so it's called Saint Anything, and it's also one of her prettiest looking books. But if I'm going to read a contemporary romance, this is who I go for. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I just wanted to share some of my favorite rainy day recs. Today it's sunny, but it will rain again. So, if you don't watch this now, save it. Think about these. These are some of my favorite books either way, but they're ones that they've stayed my favorites over the long haul, and I wanted to share that with you. So thanks so much for stopping by. As always, remember, this is a safe place to talk about it. Have you read any of these? I'd love to hear and to see what you think about them. They're all really close to my heart, and so are you guys. Thank you so much for your like, subscribe, comment. Remember, I love communicating with you. I can't wait. Thanks so much.